White House. It's just tremendous. And they get a $10,000 check. The Voice of Democracy program for the winner of the National receives $30,000 scholarship to a college of his or her choice. They too are wined and dined up there, and they're fully escorted, chaperoned. They've got so many chaperones that if that child, and I'll call him kid or whatever, wanted to do something and sneak out of that room, I don't think they're going to do it, because I think there's armed guards in the hallway. Different than I was in Boy Scout camp. But without much ado, Nathanael is the winner for the ship, and he's going to give his presentation. Nathanael.
Good morning, or is it good evening now? My name is Nathanael, as was previously stated, and I would like to first off thank the VFW for giving me the honor of allowing me to speak today with you. It is a great honor. Second, I would like to thank all of the military personnel who are represented here today and for the sacrifice you've made and for defending my liberty. As I present my speech to you today, I want you to know that at its very core is the truth that if we desire to have real hope for the future of our nation, we must return to a right understanding of God and what it means to be one nation under God once again. That is my prayer, and this is my speech. My Bible is. Big A, little a. What begins with A? An array of able Americans. A. Big B, little b. What begins with B? Belief in becoming better. B. Big C, big little c. What begins with C? Our well-constructed Constitution. C. It is in the simple ABCs of this nation that my optimism is found. America's citizens becoming better with commitment to our Constitution. Indeed, times are tough, and America is in disarray, but we still have the building blocks in place. If we will go back to the basics of what has worked for this country all throughout our history, if we will just go back to the foundational ABCs upon which our founding fathers built this nation, we will endure. We will survive. We will prevail. And because of this, I am optimistic. As I ponder the idea of optimism concerning our nation's future, I recognize that the dreams of the American people, the pursuit of a better life, and the building of that life upon the framework of the Constitution are essential to our past and are equally essential to our future. All along the way, optimism that these dreams and pursuits and plans would work drove men and women to action, gave them the desire to endure severe and improbable conditions, and empowered them after times of disaster, not only to endure, but to grow stronger. Today, if America is to stand firm as the great land of the free and home of the brave, then this same optimism must be the source from which we persist. America began as a dream for independence, true personal freedom, and the promise of opportunity for all who call this country home. Men and women throughout history have risked and sacrificed their very lives for the opportunity to make individual liberty and prosperity a reality for themselves and for future generations. The dream of such freedom fueled the drive to become the most dynamic country in the world. And this dream is not dead. It lives on in the hearts and passions of men and women all around us, and will continue to weave individual citizens into an amazing American tapestry. Being inspired to dream has caused a consistent bursting forth of vitality in America's people. Since the beginning of this nation, a better life was desired, and a better life was built. The attitude of American exceptionalism is apparent. Mitt Romney once stated, "I don't doubt for a second that Neil Armstrong's spirit is still with us." That unique blend of optimism, humility, and the utter confidence that when the world needs someone to do the really big stuff, you need an American.
Yep.
I am optimistic for the future because with the great ambitions of our people, America continues to be the global leader of innovation and technology. As we build upon the strengths of America, we are very capable of long-term vitality. Though America advances toward a better life, and though the American dream lives on, our nation is facing trouble. Rising national attacks on individual freedoms and constitutional rights, an intrusive, controlling big government, the presumption of entitlement by many, and the blatant rejection of God are extremely serious issues in this nation. Many are fearful concerning America's future, and for good reasons. But, as Winston Churchill once exhorted, if you're going through hell, keep going. And as Americans, going we are. In light of current afflictions, we can see organically grown patriots rising up to preserve this nation and defend our Constitution. The passion of these true-blooded Americans gives me hope and optimism for the future, because they know that our founding fathers had it right when they formed the Constitution on principles laid out by God the Bible. And they are proclaiming the impending need of abiding by these principles. We do have Americans who are inspired to birth dreamers. We do have the entrepreneurial and innovative vitality to keep us thriving and bettering our lives. And we do have the blueprint that proves that constitutional liberty and justice for all does work. So we can be, should be, and must be optimistic as we look beyond the present with the belief of what can be found in the future. The story of our nation is still being written, and though optimism can't solve America's problems, it remains valid and is the essential tool to rebuild our nation's morale and to drive America into the future. Going back to go forward, back to the ABCs, back to Americans living by the Constitution. Now that is a good reason for optimism. I represent a generation that is on the horizon and is eager to do just that. Look into the future with optimism as you see us coming. We are rising up with our commanding voice of democracy saying, give us back our country. May the God of the Bible, the God of grace and mercy, the God of our founding fathers, may He look favorably upon us, and may God bless America.
You too get a certificate. A lot more signatures on this one. And that's for you. And you also get a check. And again, we do take contributions. Seriously, that's all yours. And, you know, for the parents, I do have to say for the parents, there's one thing. If it weren't for the parents and the guidance of the parents, the kids wouldn't be here. Thank you for what you do. I go around and I do a lot of recruiting for VFW, American Legion, and whatever, and I can tell you a lot of the young kids that I run into that are in the service don't seem to really get it. They think the government's going to give them everything. Mm-hmm. Your speech today is, maybe there is a groundswell happening within your generation, and hopefully it is, that we need to take the country back, and we need to really do things and start working for what we have.
Yes.
I think most of us have probably done that. Mm-hmm. But you know, a lot of the youth today, they really and sincerely believe that the government is there to give it to them. That has got to change.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you so very much for coming up. Jerry Thomason, I would ask you to come up. You want to come up and say a few words, Jerry? Or stand there and say a few words?
Stand. Again, I want to always know if I get up down for Friday. I want to thank all of you. We do have some door prizes for you guys. I want to thank the families of our Patriots Band and our Voice of Democracy. Thank you for coming. Both of you, they were excellent. I was in on judging, and it's quite moving to hear and to read these essays and to hear the speeches. So this is hope. Mustang Club, again, I mean, we rely on you so much. You guys give us so much joy. You give our kids so much joy. Okay.